I have a basket I named Martina to store napkins. I dedicate it to her. She said, "Dad, I drew this," and the next morning I made it. A towel holder that I now sell worldwide, and this basket is called Martina. Lacco Ameno is home to stories that reach far back in time. Among these is that of the Monti family, who have turned tradition into art, passing down skills and knowledge through generations. Today, we dive into this fascinating journey through the words of one of the last straw weavers, Pasquale Monti. The strength of mods. The master straw weavers of Lacco Ameno.
Sono Pasquale Monti, sono di Lacco Ameno.
I am Pasquale Monti and I am from Lacco Ameno. My family's craft goes way back, probably to my great-grandparents around the 1800s. From the 1883, circa, from the time when the island was hit by the earthquake. It was the evening of July 28, 1883, around 9:30 p.m., when a violent earthquake struck Casamicciola and the neighboring towns of Lacco Ameno and Forio. The tremors, both vertical and horizontal, lasted for 13 seconds and reached a magnitude of 5.8 on the Richter scale, equivalent to a level 10 on the Mercalli intensity scale. The consequences were devastating. 2,313 lives were lost, primarily in Casamicciola, 1,784, Lacco Ameno, 146, and Forio, 345. Nearly 80% of the houses in Casamicciola, which had a population of 4,300, collapsed, and the rest were severely damaged, with just one house left intact. The tremors were felt across the whole island, in Procida, Pozzuoli, and Naples. The first reports of the disaster reached Naples around midnight, but rescue efforts were slow due to communication challenges. Aftershocks continue, the strongest one of which occurred on August 3rd. This earthquake followed another seismic event a few years prior that struck the island on March 4th, 1881, and that was of lesser intensity. This previous earthquake had already caused significant damage in Casamicciola and Lacco Ameno, resulting in 126 deaths and numerous injured people. Life on the island was profoundly disrupted, particularly in the hardest hit areas, forcing its inhabitants to reinvent themselves.
Lacco Ameno
was primarily a fishing town, some amongst which were my great-great-grandparents were more inclined toward commerce. They started building a business, the craft of straw weaving. Straw was first grown and processed on the slopes of Mount Epomeo, particularly in Serra Fontana. The wheat produced bread, and its stalk, with the sturdy and thin ones, were selected, moistened, and bundled. My ancestors would purchase these bundles and work them through the night. By weaving the straw, they created bags, hats, baskets, and so much more. They then began exporting and selling these hats throughout Europe and other continents. After the earthquake, these artisanal products not only supported the local economy, but reached far beyond the island. As Pasquale Monti mentioned, the artisans of Lacco Ameno sent their creation to major European cities, across the ocean to the United States, to India and to Eastern countries, where they were admired for their quality and uniqueness. Within every strand of woven straw were also the dreams and hopes of a family, who with creativity and determination turned a calamity into an opportunity. Thus, the tradition of straw weaving flourished, carrying the names of Lacco Ameno and Ischia all around the world. It was the women who took up this craft, not the men, because men here worked in different fields like vineyard cultivation and fishing. So the women embraced the craft. After the earthquake, they set up a school with a wooden shed in the hamlet of the upper side of Lacco Ameno. All the women from the town and community were taught how to weave. In the 1950s and 60s, with the rise of hotels and tourism, the island's landscape began to change. The wheat fields, once symbols of simple and hardworking life, started to vanish away. This shift brought about an inevitable decline in farming. The straw weaving and craft market in Lacco Ameno suffered a severe blow, as the skilled hands that had interwoven dreams and hopes into their creations for generations faced an uncertain future. The artisan tradition that had carried Lacco Ameno's name beyond the island's shores faced the risk of fading away, swallowed by the tide of progress. However, the Monti family knew how to make the best of these traumatic events. The wheat cultivation and the merchant disappeared, and the artisans of Lacco Ameno didn't know how to go on because they couldn't find raw materials. So they had to find a new career and find new materials. That's when they transitioned from straw to raffia. Raffia is a type of palm imported from Madagascar. Even back then, they started traveling. My grandmother attended the first trade fair in Milan around the 1960s. My father, who was about 5 or 6 at the time, went with her, traveling from Lacco to Milan to attend the fair. They brought the raffia with them, which is processed similarly to straw, moistened, sulfur-treated to soften it and whiten it, and then worked on iron frames. My father kept this craft alive for another generation, and today I have taken up the business with more modern techniques. Switching from straw to raffia, the Monti family faced new challenges, but managed to maintain the quality of their work. Today, their products are recognized internationally, and they continue to innovate, combining tradition and modernity to create unique items. In Italy, they are the only producer of raffia-made products. We craft lampshades, combining ancient traditions with modern techniques. New designs, new patterns, new colors. And thanks to the women who kept this tradition alive, I gained the strength to start this business again. For about 4 years now, we are back on the national market. I manage a workshop where young girls and boys are learning the craft. Pasquale Monti also passionately shared how the Ischian straw hat became an international icon, worn by famous actresses and sought after by prominent visitors staying at the Regina Isabella hotel. The Ischian straw hat became popular worldwide. It set strands. Everyone who came to the Regina Isabella hotel, actors and actresses, would stop by to get the local island product, the local craft that was truly valuable. The local craftsmanship, represented by these lightweight and refined hats, became a symbol of elegance and authenticity, attracting actors and actresses who couldn't resist taking a piece of Ischia to carry with them. This success was fueled by Pasquale's creativity and continuous innovation, as he continues to design and create new pieces inspired by emotions, dreams, and often his beloved daughter's drawings. What inspires me? An emotion. At night I might see something or dream something, or sometimes my daughter Martina draws a little something, and I'll ask her, Martina, draw something for me. I have a basket named Martina to store napkins. I dedicated to her. She said, Dad, I drew this, and the next morning I made it. A towel holder that now I sell worldwide. And this basket is called Martina. This piece has become an internationally admired product, representing not only Pasquale's craftsmanship, but also the love and family bond that permeates his work. After years spent managing construction projects across Italy, Pasquale returned to the family business with renewed passion and dedication that is truly palpable in every word he speaks. Pasquale Monti reminds us that craftsmanship is not just a trade, but a living art form that reflects the soul of its practitioner. Through his hands, raffia comes to life, turning into masterpieces that tell a story of traditions, love, and innovation. We close this chapter with Pasquale Monti's hope to see young people take up the mantle of this ancient tradition. The future of this company is to provide work for young people who are willing to learn, so we can expand this market and highlight the value of the island. Made in Ischia, made in Lacco Ameno, because there is so much potential. Beautiful Crowned Aphrodite, a journey into the stories of Lacco Ameno, a podcast by RMS for the Municipality of Lacco Ameno, produced by Studio A, written by Antonello De Rosa and Pietro Censino Di Meglio, English voice and translation by Aurora Cecchi, sound design, music and post-production by Luigi Menni Mennella, audio supervision by Francesco Arando, producer Pietro Censino Di Meglio.